Welcome back to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. I am very, very hot today. I'm not going to lie. We are parked in a bit of a tourist trap today. If you're the first time listening to this, we are full time van lifers. So we live and travel in our amazing little motorhome rig. But anyway, where we're parked at the moment, it is a tourist trap and there are people everywhere. So if you can hear dogs barking, babies crying, and just general shit, I apologize. I don't even know why people have dogs out in this heat. It does baffle me. But it is, I'm sweating my little ass off today. So it is, yeah, it's like 30 degrees here today, which if you're in the States or a hot part of the States, you're probably like, that's not hot. And by the way, I mean Celsius. We do that differently as well. But even so, still not hot compared to you guys and other parts of the world. Anyway, I'm done rambling now. It's hot. So today I want to go into kind of a little bit of a pattern that I've been seeing in the last week as I've been talking to more people inquiring about joining the accelerator, which, by the way, we are nearly 50% full now, and we aren't even a week into the launch, which is amazing. Price goes up in 5 days, so stick around until the end if you want more info on that, or you can just head to the show notes and get it straight away. But a pattern that I have, honestly, this isn't a new one, but it's been more kind of apparent the more people I've been talking to, is kind of this stuck in clarity moment or phase of your business that honestly can last years if you're not careful. But this stuck in, I need to change my leash. I just need to be more clear. I just need to get clearer on my messaging. I just need to get clearer on my ideal client and all of this back end work. And there's a few reasons why this happens. Again, I really, really get you if you are stuck in this kind of loop of like, I just need more clarity, because I was there and I was there for a pretty long time as well. And I just thought if I had got clearer or I got more information or if I just like did more back end work, then things on the front end would just like magically fall into place. So I've been speaking to a lot of people who feel like they're in that clarity loop. And they've been saying exactly that. Like, I feel like I've paid for support, I've gotten support, or I've downloaded resources or gotten coaching on all this clarity work, but like with the promise of it will transform your business and you just need to do all of this and then you'll get sales, and it still hasn't resulted in sales. And I, as I said before, I really do relate to this, and I really genuinely thought that if I just got clearer, that would be it. But what is clarity without action? Like, you can't do anything with that work if you're not taking action on it. And then for us neurospicy coaches and practitioners, this can often be the sticking point because we don't want to, or we can't really sometimes even take action, or sustainably, we can't sustainably take action in the way that a lot of neurotypical people do, because it's not sustainable for us. It feels very restrictive. And we kind of check out because it's not sustainable. So then we're stuck in this loop of thinking that we can't take any action, even though it's just because we, haven't got the right support, or we've been given these really rigid plans. So it's kind of just like a loop, a vicious cycle. So this episode is going to be very, very juicy for you if you feel like you are also stuck in that loop and wondering why all of the shit that you seem to be doing on the back end is just not translating into sales and clients. So there are a few theories that I'm going to kind of go into anyway about why this happens. One, being neurodivergent, we kind of get stuck in that rumination stage of overthinking everything on the back end. And then, as I said before, struggling to take action on the front end because we don't have the right support for it, because the online business world is built for people to just follow really rigid content calendars that honestly don't even really work well for neurotypicals anyway. But anyway, that's a story for a different kind of episode. But, we also do have this really, really strong fear of being seen that will often stop us from taking action as well. That will often just keep us in that kind of back and forth stage. So it's a mix of different things. And this is why inner work and the strategy work are both so important. That's why I teach both, because you cannot have one without the other. You just can't. So this cycle kind of goes a little bit like maybe you tweak your niche, then you feel like a bit of a dopamine hit because you're like, yes, this is the missing piece. Like, this is exactly what I need. Like, it must just be that my niche was like that before. And now I've thought of something new, and you get like new ideas, which gives you kind of like a false dopamine hit. So you tweak your messaging, you rethink your ideal client, and then you overthink your content. You're like, okay, now I need a whole different content plan. And then you kind of just repeat that cycle. You kind of, after maybe a month or even a few weeks of going through that, and then you're like, well, I'm still not seeing clients, need to change it again. Whereas a lot of people don't know, but a new strategy takes at least 3 months to play out. At least 3 months, maybe probably even 6 these days in the online like social media marketing world. And that is 3 to 6 months of showing up the right way. In terms of, when I say the right way, I mean like the right way for you, the right way that's sustainable and allows you to shine and be you online and be really clear and everything like that. So kind of when you jump from like things like every few weeks, you don't even give it a chance to play out, and you just shoot yourself in the foot before you've even began. And it's just because I think this happens even with neurotypicals anyway, but I think with ADHD and just neurodiversity, this is because we need that dopamine hit. And when we can't find healthy other ways to give ourselves that, when we are waiting for things to play out, again, this is a big thing that I focus on in any of my coaching, is like giving yourself real fucking dopamine while you're waiting and being consistent with the business side of things. But we really are quite good at keeping ourselves busy on the back end, and it feels productive. It's what I call busy work, and it's work that essentially just sometimes doesn't need to be done, most of the time doesn't need to be done. And it makes you feel productive because it's like, it's stuff that I'm like draining myself with and working really hard on the back end, but I don't have to be seen on the front end. That's kind of how it tends to work. And I see people talk about, like, people fucking love the word pivot and rebrand. And it's like, you can't have a rebrand when you don't have a brand. And that's the thing, is that I've heard people say, and if this is you, then like, I do need you to hear this as well with love. You cannot have a rebrand when you don't have a brand. And if you aren't creating sales, then you don't have a brand. I don't know, that's harsh, but it's the truth. So all this stuff, you say, I need a rebrand. No, you don't. You do not need a rebrand. You do not need to pivot. Sometimes you need to pivot, but pivot with reason and pivot with intention. Don't just pivot because you've tried something for a few weeks and it's like, oh, my clients aren't coming in. That will fuck you up for the long run. And that's, I am so here for the pivot. I really, really am. But you need to choose your moments to do that. But I hear the words pivot and rebrand and brand refresh, and it's like, you just got to be so intentional. And it is hard because when you don't have the right support, how are you meant to know? But like I'm not going to go into it, but the business coaching industry is really messed up at the moment and has been for like 5 years, to be honest. But in 5 years, even longer than that, to be honest. And we have a lot of people speaking in absolutes and saying, yeah, just rebrand, just redo your niche. And I just, it is the most confusing space for a neurospicy entrepreneur. And that was where I was. And that's why I do the work I do, to be honest. But it is confusing because you just don't know what source to listen to. But, one idea that I see being sold is, once you're clear enough, the clients will just come. And it's not the case. You have to take initiative. Like, when you are in that first stage of building reputation, getting consistent clients, getting seen, becoming known for what you do, you have to go and find your clients as well as expecting them to find you. Like, this is one of the most damaging, I think, and dangerous things that I hear being spouted, is your content should just be so magnetic that it just magnetizes your people towards you and people buy. I think people, and I was actually talking about this with someone over voice note this morning, people don't seem to be talking about the fact that the online social media coaching kind of world has very much changed in the last few years. We are not in the 2020 coaching gold rush anymore. We are not in the 2020, and thank fuck, to be honest with you, because it was really unethical. People are like, oh, it was so much easier to market back then. And it's like, no, it was so much easier to manipulate people back then. And those people that were doing their marketing like that and are still, they are going down. And I know that, like, again, I'm not trying to sound like a bitch, but I'm watching. I've been in mutual, what would you even call it, colleague, like just people in the business coaching industry. I've seen them because I know them through other people. I've seen them rise in like 2020 to 2022, and the last couple of years they've been really, really falling because their marketing is so freaking manipulative, or just shouty, what the fuck, shouty, and unethical, and very much based on either fear tactics or income claim marketing or something like that. I'm just speaking from my industry, and this is the same with any industry. Might not be income claim marketing, but it might be something else if you're in like the wellness and health sectors. But they're going down because the online business, like climate and coaching world, has really, really changed. And it's good news for those who are ethical in their marketing, because now it's your time to shine. And that's the thing is, strategy changes. Yes, the online space always changes every few years, every like 4 or 5 years. But if you are an ethical person who bases their marketing and sales around integrity and creating genuine relationships, it doesn't matter what happens in the online space. You'll be fine. You just need to adapt ever so slightly when it does change. But it's still rooted in you. But back to my point on that statement of your content should do all the heavy lifting. It's not enough anymore. I've seen the coaching industry change, and people have a lot less trust. I speak to so many people these days who have had a bad coaching experience somewhere along the line. Coaching has become a much more popular kind of like thing over the last 5-10 years, and people have been burned. So, like anything else that people have maybe had a bad experience with, like most things, honestly, there now has to be an element of trust. So when you're a new and kind of rising coach, you will have to create that trust yourself. You will have to actually show that you give a fuck. And that's not a bad thing. I feel like people really have demonized like DM conversations, or messaging someone who has interacted with your story, or, just basically caring and like providing free value and creating community. People really are like, oh yeah, no, I want to magnetize. Yeah, don't we all, bitch? But like, it's not how it works. But like sometimes your content will do the heavy lifting in a way. Like sometimes people will see your content and be like, wow, that's the post that really like ticked it off for me. I've been following you for a while and that was really the one. But you cannot solely rely on that alone, because that is why you've got a trickle of clients if you're constantly relying on that, because it will be few and far between. This is where the relationship building comes in, the bravery and the confidence and the integrity to know that when you reach out to people, or when you start conversations, or whatever it is, when you create that community, that is coming from a place of genuine care. And that is it. Like, that is it, and finding out whether people are a fit if the conversation progresses that way. But anyway, my point, trust is key. So, and that kind of notion of once you become clear, clients will just come. That is what's dangerous, because it keeps people stuck in inaction. And that is why you're struggling. If you haven't been trying to move the needle by being proactive with finding your people, and you are kind of just posting, waiting, and doing nothing else, I promise you that is the main reason why you're struggling. So that advice is damaging. So I want to get into a little bit deeper on why clarity alone doesn't lead to sales. So clarity is important. Yes, 1000%. I cover all of that in the accelerator. Like, the first phase, or the second phase, second module in the first phase, there we go, is very much based on clarity, because this is where I kind of become almost a little bit contradictory with this, because sometimes, and most of the time, the clarity work that people think they've done isn't the clarity work that you need to do. Getting clear on your messaging, getting clear on your ideal client, getting clear on what they're struggling with and what they've tried before and where they want to be, and all of that is great, but it's still not enough. You need to be going into your market. You need to be going into what's going on there. You need to be watching what's going on there. And you need to look at where everybody is feeling burnt out because everyone's fucking offering the same shit, and what your people actually need. Then you need to like position your offer as a obvious solution to that. Like, yeah, it's all well and good, like create an irresistible offer and everything, but what is irresistible about something, sorry, that doesn't solve a clear problem for what people actually need? What is irresistible about an offer that is basically just the same shit recycled that everybody else in your sub industry is doing? Do you see what I mean? I know it sounds harsh, but it needs to be said. But so clarity, or what people think clarity is not actually the it's not deep enough. And that's what we go into in everything I teach. We go really, really, really deep, beyond like, oh, just figure out who your ideal client is. That's not enough. It's really, really not enough. You need to know your market, and you need to know exactly what they're hungry for, and you need to pay attention to you, like beyond competitor research, to find out basically what everyone's tired about and tired with. You got to just stay in your own lane, blinders on, fingers in ears, just doing your own shit. So that's what I'll say about that. But in general, anyway, there is only so much that clarity can do for you. There is only so much thinking you can do. And the real point where that clarity actually becomes useful, it's through, sorry, I had hiccups, is through action and feedback and your community and real conversations as well. Like, I cannot tell you how useful it is to just have real conversations with people. And this is also why I encourage you to have DM conversations beyond, like, I think people say, oh, I don't want a cold DM, because their experience with cold DMing is, hey girl, just wanted to let you know about my program. Fuck that shit. We're not doing that. And that it's so wildly ineffective, and I just don't even know. Like, I've been in sales a long time, like even before my business, and even back in the day, that shit didn't work anyway. Like, I don't know what. I won't even go into it. But that's a lot of people's experiences with cold DMing. We want to DM people from the lens of, I want to create a relationship with you. I want to give you some free value, and I want to know more about you. That is literally it. So even beyond like, okay, I want to see if you're a fit for my program potentially, I would always just encourage having conversation about, hey, I'd love to know where you're at right now. But once you identify someone who could possibly be an ideal client or someone who's interacted with your stuff, asking them just like, hey, I'd actually really just love to know where you're at right now. That serves a purpose, a double purpose. One, this shit is gold. Create content on it, put it in your messaging oracle, as I like to call it. It's just a little resource that we build and use inside my program, where you can just basically refer to real life shit that people have said to you rather than you guessing like, oh, I think this is what my ideal client would say. No, real people have said it to you, and you'll know who your ideal client is or not through that. But so you've got all of that gold to work with, but then also it will naturally lead into figuring out whether somebody is looking for your help and is a fit or not for your coaching. You know what I mean? So yeah, honestly, I spent the first year of and I paid coaches business coaches, a lot of fucking money. In the first year when I put my coaching business online, I hemorrhaged money on business coaches for them to basically load me up with distractions and crap, and probably the same things that you're focusing on right now. And I had to learn all of this by myself. Like, and I had to remember it because I already knew half of it anyway. But I was, I started out as a spiritual coach, which means that there were a lot of like feminine heavy business coaches that I kind of came into contact with, and they very much like demonized like sales or selling and any of the quote unquote masculine stuff. And it's just fucking bullshit, to be honest with you. It really, really is. You need both. You need your creativity, you need your inspiration, you need to fucking feel your feet on the grass at least 20 times a day. I really do recommend at least 10 or 20 times a day go and put your feet on the grass. But you need the masculine as well. If you really want to, separate it by saying masculine and feminine, you need both. But I promise you, if you have been told or you feel like clarity and getting that perfect clarity will be like, okay, when I get that, that's when I will make sales. Or when I am so clear, that's when I can put myself out there. You will be stuck for a way longer time than you need. That being said, I also don't agree with the advice of just throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks, or just take messy action. It's like, no, I think that, again, that is just shitty business coach advice. I think that there is an in-between. You need to take action. You need to just get as much clarity as you can in the beginning, then start taking action, start interacting with people. Just like my one thing would be start communicating with people to find out what they need and just start talking to your market. Like, no one's going to say, fuck off, don't talk to me, if you're like, hey, I'd love to know more about you. And if they do, that's fine. And rejection is a normal part of business, but it will be few and far between. When you approach people from the lens of, hi, buy my program, please. I don't know you, but just fucking buy it. Then they're going to be like, go away. Do you know what I mean? So just really approaching people to find that real clarity. That's the kind of action that I'm talking about. Not just like, oh, I'm going to imagine my ideal client in my head, and I think they want this, and they want that, blah blah blah. I did that for so long, and I honestly drove myself nuts. But taking that action and having that clarity in the beginning is key. So what is kind of the missing piece on the front end? Action. As I've said, at this point, most people aren't lacking information. They're lacking implementation and support with implementation. And that's honestly across the coaching industry as a whole. But from what I'm talking about with you in this case, I really it's becoming very, very clear to me how many people that I'm speaking to who are, coaches, practitioners, they are absolutely overwhelmed with the information, and they just do not and have not had the right support for implementation. I was on a discovery call with someone the other day, and she said, yeah, I really want to join the accelerator, but I'm quite scared because I have been burned by too many coaches in the past. And that's the one thing that I really like about the way I do discovery calls, is that I have one kind of goal, is to make you feel heard and seen, and to find out whether it's a fit for you. Like, yes, and me, because I want to take on the right people for me, but mainly, is it the right fit? Is it the right time for you? Is it what you actually need? Because I couldn't think of a worse feeling. And again, it's because I empathize with it, because I've been through it. I couldn't think of a worse feeling than basically having someone in my program or coaching that has basically moved past that, or they don't need it, or it wouldn't be useful for them. Like, that would make me feel like absolute shite. So I love doing the discovery calls, because I like really making sure it's a right fit for people. And making people feel really heard and validated with their past experiences. But anyway, I sort of said, like, what support have you had before? Do you feel like it's a support issue? Do you feel like it's a knowledge gap? She's like, well, it's definitely not a knowledge gap. Although there's always things that I do end up teaching people that they're like, oh wait, shit. I like, for example, the niche clarity and things like that. They're like, oh right, yeah, no, I didn't know any of that. Like, I didn't know we needed to go that deep, and they really see it play out. But she was like, no, it's definitely an implementation gap. I haven't been supported. I've just been basically roped into coaching programs, and no one's taught me how to implement any of the business stuff. And she said she joined one, and halfway through, the business coach, said, oh, we're changing it, and there won't be any calls or support. You'll just get the modules. And I'm like, okay, one, I would have sued, and two, no wonder you're feeling unsupported, because that's really crap. So what I'm seeing a trend with is that it's not more information that people are needing right now, it's support. And I'm sure that you are in that same boat as well. So cramming more information into your brain when you kind of have gone round and round with it is not only going to be ineffective for your sales, but it's going to make you feel really, really, really overwhelmed. And that will just end up with you being burnt out, or fawning, or kind of just going into this recluse and hide thing kind of mentality, because you think it's you and all your fault. And it's not. It's really not. Another missing piece I kind of see on the front end is a little bit of an imbalance between mindset and strategy. So people either over strategize and don't do the inner work around visibility. So they'll strategize about how they're going to sell and become visible on market. And then they're like, oh, I actually don't want to do that, because they haven't done the inner work and the shadow work and the kind of energy work around showing up confidently. That seems to be a problem. In fact, I know that that's a problem. It's not something that's new with my clients in my world. I've always specialized in shadow work and inner work, and I've definitely brought that into business. And then another pattern I kind of see is the opposite. So people just focus on mindset work and, the energetics and quote unquote just manifesting it. And then they don't take any action whatsoever or have a strategy or a plan to kind of lean into. So that's another big one that I see. And another one is, for us neurospices, having a plan and a sales system that works for our brain is hugely important. You know as well as I do, if someone's going to shove something at you that isn't built for you or hasn't even no one's actually worked with you to look at what you need, and it feels restrictive or feels rigid, you're not going to do it. And neither am I, because that's just the way we're built. So, someone saying, oh, here's a content plan, just do it, or just be consistent with it, quite frankly, doesn't cut the mustard. Without structure, accountability, learning how to regulate and support that actually guides you and holds you, the action is not going to happen. And the reason you've probably been feeling like no piece of advice, even when you do implement it, is working right for you, and you just feel like you're trying everything, is because traditional marketing and sales advice and the plans mainly just falls flat for neurodivergent coaches and practitioners when they go to market their business. It's just not enough to kind of tell people, just post more, just be clearer, just change your niche, whatever it is. It's just none of it. Even like the plans that you put into place, like your weekly plans and your monthly plans. What I really love to do and encourage my students to follow is working with your high and low energy cycles, because we will get that. We will get and naturally as women we get that with our menstrual cycle anyway. But when you are ADHD or neurodiverse, you will have days where you're buzzing, and often it will probably follow your cycle, but even if it doesn't, and you'll have days when you crash. And so we always look at your high and low energy cycles in our coaching together, because that's how you build consistency and flow that actually works with your body and your brain, rather than trying to just do everything at a linear pace that isn't fucking sustainable. So I think that there's just a lack of like nuance around the how. It's not just about like what to do, but it's how to do it in a way that's sustainable and doable for you. So I just want to round off by saying, if you have been feeling really drained and really burnt out, I really do know. And I see this time and time again with new clients, with audience members, you're not alone. And I know that it really sometimes does feel like you're some sort of freak, and you're like alone and you're the only one who struggles with it, and you're not. And I just want you to know that. Like, come and join me over on Instagram, because just come and join me, join the broadcast channel, just follow along, because you will join a community of people who are exactly like you in the best possible way, because I really think neurospicy business owners are the best. I really just think we're one of a kind, different breed, magical as fuck. But they also very much struggle with the same things. And so rounding off with what you actually need to be focusing on if you are stuck in this loop, a mix of, yes, the clarity, and then once it's done, a simple and doable action plan. If you can just have a simple sales process and a simple marketing strategy that works with a model that you've chosen that is honoring you. It took, honestly, even on like the offer model side of things, your business model and the way your offers kind of work, or your offer, it really honestly took me until last year to find a model that suited me. I was like evergreen launching, I don't know. And it, even just with my offers as well, it took me so long. And now I genuinely know what I want and what works for me. So it is with that side of things, definitely a trial and error, but just choosing something that's really supportive and sustainable is key for you. Support that not only helps you strategize and create those processes, and someone who's actually going to listen to you about what you need and your life as well, because your business is very much part of your life. And all of my students will have different plans, whether it's a group program or anything else. Everyone's like processes and plans and strategies will look different, because everybody's got a different life. Everybody's got different goals. Everybody's got different businesses. So, it's going to look different, but support with that, but also support that helps you know how to regulate through ups and downs, through I want to burn it all down moments, and through kind of the emotional roller coaster that just is entrepreneurship that gets 10x when you do have ADHD or neurodiversity. And, the mindset stuff that comes up when selling and marketing and becoming visible as well. So, if you have been listening to this and you're thinking, yes, this is literally me, what the fuck, then I want to invite you to join me in the Neuro Friendly Sales Accelerator. As I mentioned before, we are nearly 50% full now, which is incredible and exciting. And I absolutely cannot wait. We start on August 5th. We're still on early bird pricing at the moment, but that will be going up on Friday. Today is Monday, the 30th of June, Jesus. So whenever you're listening to this, those are the dates. So we've got a few more days until price increases. And this is where you're going to get that in-depth support Monday to Friday from me. So this is not a group coaching program of like 50 people where you just get chucked in a Telegram chat and get told to get on with the modules. This is like I split everybody into pods of 6. It's very intimate support. You'll have your own space within that community chat to have one-to-one time with me every single day, Monday to Friday. You'll also have hot seat coaching in the group calls. It's you literally cannot get more supportive than what you'll get in the accelerator. And that is tailored to you as well. None of it is going to be blanketed. None of it is going to be, here's my process and you need to go and do it. I work with you one-to-one in the group, so that we can build something that's actually going to be doable for you and makes you feel good and happy as well. Because like business is so fucking pointless if you aren't enjoying what you do in it. And marketing and sales is a big part of it. So if you don't enjoy that, it's just going to feel like crap, and I don't want that for you. So as I said, we're going to go way deeper into the clarity portion than you've ever gone before. As I was saying at the start of the episode, you don't even know the half of it, likely, because the stuff that you see online about like this is how to get clarity, it just doesn't go deep enough. So yes, we'll cover that, but the majority of it will be on the front end. So learning the sales processes, learning how to actually bring people through conversations that go somewhere, and qualify your leads, qualify your clients. I'll teach you how to conduct discovery calls and sales calls that will actually close a sale where you feel comfortable closing a sale that is a fit, finding out whether it is actually a fit or not, rather than feeling you're like a sleazy freaking car salesman that's just trying to push everything on everyone. Yes, you'll absolutely go into content. I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know about content, and we'll work on your content in real time. Instagram stories, emails, how to sell, how to warm, how to nurture an audience and a community, and build reputation, build a brand, and build relationships that will lead to sales. So that is basically it in a nutshell. But I'd love you to go and check out the information if you are feeling called to it, or if you feel like, yes, this is the kind of level of support that I need right now, then go and check out the full details in the show notes. You can also book a call with me as well if you want to just meet face to face and just ask some questions and just find out if it's a fit for you. Then book a call. There's a little button on the page after you've read through the information that will take you to a form. You can apply, book a call. It's free. It's like 20-30 minutes. It's no pressure. And it really is just for you to see if it's a fit for you. Ask any questions you need answering. And that is literally it. And in the meantime, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Polly Pollock Official. You can also message me through there as well if you don't really feel like you want to jump on a call and you'd rather just talk on Instagram, or you just want to ask a few questions before even jumping on a call. You know where to find me. And that is it from me this week, and I'll see you next time.